If you've been voice acting for longer than a year, then this video will be of no use to you. If you want to learn how to be an online voice actor, or you're just looking for a new hobby, then this video is for you, the beginners. So you want to be an online voice actor? Well, you need a microphone. Before you can pick a microphone, you have to ask yourself two questions. What is my budget, and how seriously do I take voice acting? If you're on a small budget and you're not sure if you want to pursue voice acting, then I would recommend buying a USB mic for now. If you have a bigger budget and you intend to take voice acting more seriously, then I would recommend getting an XLR mic. But for now, I'm just going to concentrate on USB microphones for beginners. Because if you're a beginner, your main objective for the first couple of months or so is just to improve yourself as a voice actor. There's no point buying an XLR mic if you have no experience in voice acting. You may not even like voice acting, so there's no point spending $300 or more on equipment you might only use for a couple of weeks. So that's why I'd recommend USB for beginners. So what USB microphone do I buy? Well, you have a few options. Now, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that recommend the Blue Yeti or the Blue Snowball. Now, these are two good mics, but in my opinion, they are far overpriced for what they are. For $130, you can get a Blue Yeti, or at $70, you can get a Samsung CO1U. It's more reliable and professional than the Blue Yeti. I want to quickly say that laptop, headset, and mobile phone microphones are not okay to use in voice acting. The quality of these microphones just isn't up to par, and if you use these microphones, you will never get a role. So save everyone some time and don't do it. Just don't use these microphones to voice act with. Now that you have your microphone, there's two more things you need to do. One is consider the room around you. If the room around you is large or has many walls, you'll get a lot more reverb and echo in your recordings. And even if your mic is amazing, it will still sound horrible. So recording in small areas is better. Now, if you have reverb in your audio and you can't move to a smaller room, one thing you can do is put a blanket over your head. It'll get really hot when you record, but the reverb will be gone. The second thing you need to do is buy a pop filter. Now, I'm going to show you a demonstration on what happens when you say P with a pop filter and without a pop filter. Please give me some potatoes. Please give me some potatoes. Notice how when I pronounce the letter P, the audio peaks a little. This happens because when you pronounce certain letters or make certain noises with your mouth, air hits the microphone from your mouth, causing it to peak. Now, look what happens when I use a pop filter. Please give me some potatoes. Please give me some potatoes. Notice how there's no peaking when I use a pop filter. The pop filter stops the air molecules we just talked about from hitting the microphone, thus stopping any peaking. Also, a pop filter stops saliva from getting on your microphone and eroding it, so it's always nice to have. Pop filters only cost around $5. And I've just showed you right there how important it is to make sure you have one. So there's no excuse not to buy one. So you've bought the hardware. Now you need some software. There is a sea of options out there. But in all honesty, I'm going to save you a lot of time. Just download Audacity. It's free and it's extremely beginner friendly. So anyone can just pick up the software and use it without hassle. Now, if you insist on getting more professional audio editing software, then you have a lot of options. These are free I've used. WavePad Editor, Adobe Audition CS6, and Avid Pro Tools. WavePad is basically Audacity 2.0. It's Audacity with a bit more features. Are those features worth $130? No, not really. So just stick to Audacity. Next up is Adobe Audition. Now this software is great and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to splash out a bit more cash on software. It's extremely simple to use with a nice layout and doesn't overwhelm the user when you first open it. It gives you enough options but doesn't make it too complicated, so it's great. Now, Avid Pro Tools is the industry standard for any voiceover work. That's because of the sheer amount of options you have with this software. Now, unless you're ambitious or you're an audio engineer, I would stay away from this. The learning curve is insane for this software. You would end up spending most of your time watching tutorials on how to use it, rather than voice acting. Even though I have all these options available, I still use Audacity, because it's extremely simple to use, and I'm used to it. Also, it barely takes up any RAM on your computer, so that's a nice bonus. So you've got your setup and you're ready to make some magic in front of the microphone. But you need to find a place to audition for things. So where do you go? Well, luckily now there's a bunch of sites you can audition for stuff on. The majority of the work on these sites won't pay, and that's fine. Remember, your objective as a beginner voice actor is to improve yourself. So what sites do I use and which sites do I stay away from? The free sites I would recommend you not using as a beginner are Voices.com, Voices123, and VoiceBunny. Voices.com and Voices123 have a subscription model, so you have to pay to be on their website and get roles, and this subscription is extremely expensive for what it is, in my opinion. Even for experienced voice actors, it can be a nightmare making your money back on these sites. So for a beginner, I would recommend you stay away from these sites at all costs. Now, Voice Bunny is a bit interesting. Voice Bunny is free to use and you can make money on it for free. If it's free to use and you can get paid, how can that possibly be bad? The model of this website is extremely awkward, and I know some of my friends who have nearly quit voice acting because they got so frustrated with this website. Even if you do make some money off this website like I have, it's not worth it. It takes up too much time and it's just frustrating. So I've told you the bad voice acting websites. Now what are the good ones? I'm going to name 6 sites you can use that are quite good. Now this isn't every single voice acting website on the internet. These are just 6 I've used and my friends have used. The 6 are Behind the Voice Actors, Casting Call Club, Voice Acting Alliance, Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Now YouTube and Tumblr are a bit niche. There's not many roles on there, but there is some cool stuff you can find if you look hard enough. The majority of the work on these 2 sites is fan-based. So fan dubs, comic dubs, crossovers, you name it. Now Facebook's a bit weird. There is barely any voiceover work on Facebook to be found. But I had to mention it because there is one Facebook group in particular that I would recommend every voice actor online joining. It's called Online Voice Actors Actresses. Now although some content in this group gets posted that is not relevant to voiceovers at all, there is a lot of good work you can get on this Facebook page. One of the best things about this Facebook page is that it's extremely friendly. If you want feedback on a project you voiced in or a demo you made, people will give you honest feedback that will actually help you improve yourself as a voice actor. So even if you don't get any roles from this page, it's still worth checking out. Also, the main admin of this page is extremely nice and will help you with anything you need voiceover related. So there's bound to be something in this Facebook group you'll like. Behind the Voice Actors is predominantly all fan work. Voice Acting Alliance is also another one I'd recommend. My favorite thing about it is that you can split original work from fan work. So if you don't want to do any fan work, you don't even have to look at it. The last website is Casting Call Club. Now, this website is great for new voice actors, probably the best one here. The reason it's so good is because there is so much work on here, and there is so much variation. They also highlight paid work, so if you only want to do paid work, it's there. If I had to recommend which site to use, it would be this one, but honestly, I'd use all of them. Some of these websites are better than others. That doesn't mean you should only use 1 or 2. Some people only post their auditions on one website. So if you only stick to one website, you might miss out on some great roles. So you followed all the steps up until now. So now you're ready to audition for things. I'm gonna make a full in-depth video on how to audition for things sometime. But for now, I'm just gonna give you the basics. One of the most important things about voice acting is making sure you fully understand the emotion in the lines you're reading for. And then once you fully understand the emotion in the line, you have to emote it. Imagine the character you're auditioning for is a general on a battlefield, and the line is asking you to shout something to your troops to raise their morale. You have to completely invest yourself in this character. You have to make sure you believe you're on a battlefield when you scream. If you don't believe the line when you say it, no one else is going to believe you either. The second important thing you want to keep in mind when you're auditioning for roles is audio quality. If any of your audio you record has peaking, reverb, or background noise, you shouldn't use this. It shows that you don't care about the quality of your work. The work that you should be proud of. Even if it's an amazing take, but it has just a tiny bit of peaking, you shouldn't use it. Now, some people like to edit their lines to either pitch shift, normalize, or equalize. I would recommend that you just submit your audition as is. Most of the time, the director just wants to hear your voice. They can add the effects afterwards. Also, don't add background music or sound effects to your audition. It shows that you can't deliver a convincing performance on your own. The third thing is you're going to have to get used to being rejected. No one voice fits every role. So don't be discouraged if you don't get a role. It's just the nature of the work. Just be grateful when you do get a role and make sure you keep auditioning for stuff. The last and probably most important thing to remember when you audition is that you shouldn't submit an audition you aren't fully proud of. If you can't take pride in your work, then why should someone else? So you got your first role, now what? Well, first off, congratulations, that means you're awesome. You must have done something right. Now, you need to make sure you have a clean email account that you check regularly, because you'll probably get emails from your director at some point. Also, you need to make sure you have a Skype account, so you can be contacted by the director easy. You will also most likely be put in a Skype group when you get cast in a project. In this Skype group, all the other cast members will be there. You will most likely have regular calls with them all, so make sure you're very polite and friendly. When you're doing your lines, make sure you fully read the script. I know it sounds stupid, but a lot of voice actors only read their own lines. And that's stupid, because you actually get context with a full script. If you have some lines that you're struggling with, always make sure to ask your director for help. I'm sure they'll gladly help you out and help direct you to the line they want. Also, make sure you always submit your lines before the deadline. This community isn't big, so if you're known for not being reliable, people will know about it. So make sure you always do your lines on time. And if you simply can't do your lines on time for whatever reason, ask your director. I'm sure they'll give you extra time, they normally always do. The last piece of advice I can give you if you want to be an online voice actor is to have fun. This community is amazing, and there's some amazing people. I guarantee you'll make some lifelong friends. I've made so many, because honestly, I've never had as much fun as when I'm voicing in projects with my best friends. It's honestly amazing. So just have fun and enjoy it. You don't have to take this seriously, it can just be a hobby. But whatever you do, try and follow the steps in the video, and have fun with it. Stay amazing, you.